Hello and welcome back to Silent War 2.0, Short Campaign 3, Hold the Line. I'm Tim. We're just getting ready to start March of 1942. Before we get going though, I have a correction that I need to make from the previous video. If you noticed in the comments for the last video, there were a few mistakes that I made. One that actually resulted in us sinking a ship that we shouldn't have. So there was a 1,000-ton merchant ship that we sunk, but I miscalculated one of the two hit values in one of the attack rounds and should not have actually gotten a damage result that I thought I did. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract that from our totals. So we're actually only at 6 ships and 19,000 tons. The other two mistakes were forgetting a couple of DRMs for search and contact. So I'll try to keep that in mind going forward. Search and contact in a narrow area should have a +1 modifier to your roll. And I also forgot that if you're spotted, you get a -1 roll to your search and contact roll. So we'll try to get those straight from here on out. But other than that, I did want to mention one thing before we start. Now that we're into March of 1942, if you recall, one of the triggers for the end of this scenario is the Fall of the Dutch East Indies war event. If that occurs now that we're in March 1942, it can occur, then that'll be the last turn of the scenario. So we're kind of under the gun here, March, April, and May, where we could have an early ending to this scenario if we get that war event to occur. So a bit of a race now to see if we can get as much tonnage sunk before that happens. And if it doesn't happen by the end of May 42, then the scenario will definitely end at that point. All right, so without further ado, let's get going. We'll do our war event phase. We did get a 2, so that's going to trigger a war event. So 7 is going to be no roll on the ultra table. So we won't be doing that. And again, just like with February, in March, there is no roll for weather event formation. So we won't have to worry about weather this month either. So moving on to the RRR segment, no reinforcements. We've got one sub that we need to roll for their ready state. 4 or less, he can go ready for sea this turn, and he does. So we'll get the 019 back. And then for repair, we need to roll for the K11. They 5 or less. Yep, they come out of repairs into the broom box. All right, and then last step will be prep for operations. So all these subs out in op areas, we move them up to the operating section. I can do it without knocking all these counters all over the place. All right, so let's get started with our operations segment. We'll send all these subs that are returning to base back home first. This guy, since he's in the base is in his op area, we don't need to do a transit event check. So he loses his spotted marker. We do need to roll for his damage though. And a 1. We've been pretty fortunate on these damage rolls. That's actually superficial. So he goes straight to the broom box. Next, let's move up here to the South Philippine Sea. We've got the K8 returning through the Banda Sea. So he will have a transit event roll. We're at -1 for being on the transit side, but then +1 for the shallow and narrow. We got a 9, so we do have to do a check. Ooh. And +1. And I haven't got positive 100% confirmation on this, but I believe the intent is to have the +1 modifier for narrow and or shallow apply to both of these rolls on the transit event table. Not only the initial roll, but then both of the subsequent rolls that you have to make. So I'm going to start doing it that way from now on until I hear otherwise. So we've got 9, and which is going to go up to a 10. Again, there's no 10 row, and then that 4 will go up to a 5. So a 5 on the 9 row is going to be spotted return to base. And if I remember correctly, if you get a return to base result on a transit event check, you have to stop. Yes, if a submarine receives an involuntary RTB result, regardless of whether it is already in RTB, the submarine is placed in the done section of the op area used to determine the transit event check. So he gets stopped here and is now spotted. All right, next we have our guy with 2 damage markers. Now, if you'll recall, back a while ago, I don't remember which turn it was exactly, we had the Fall of Luzon event occur. And because of that, Fremantle is now open, but we can only RTB there if we have 2 damage markers. And the advantage of doing that is if you look at Fremantle's submarine base, much more favorable numbers for the repair boxes to be able to advance through the repair boxes. 357 versus 135. And so because K18 does have 2 damage markers, we're going to send him back to Fremantle so he can hopefully get repaired quicker. So he does have a movement rating of 3, or speed of 3, so he's able to make it there. So he'll be coming through the Banda Sea and the Java Sea to submarine base Fremantle. So both of them are equal in terms of red boxes, and both have the shallow and narrow. So we can choose whichever we wish to perform the transit event check. We'll do it in the Java Sea. So if he does get stopped for some reason, he's at least closer. And so we've got our -1 DRM for transit event, or for transit side up, and +1 for our shallow narrow. So again, a 7, 8, or 9 will trigger a transit event check. We got a 6, so we don't have to roll. So he makes it back to Fremantle, but then because he has 2 damage markers, we actually have to roll twice on the damage table. If you have a second damage marker, you roll twice on the damage table, add the resulting repair box numbers, and if it would put you beyond repair box 3, then it's considered a constructive total loss. You lose the sub, but it doesn't count as a sub that was sunk. So we will do that now. We'll just use the 2 dice here. These are both rolls for the damage table. Ooh, that doesn't look good. 6 and 7 both add up, both result in a 2, which would be 4. So yep, K18. Wow, that was one of our nicer subs too. Is a total constructive loss, no longer available to us, but does not count as a sunk sub. All right, next up, K10. Returning through the band of sea to Surabaya. So again, +1, -1 for the transit event check. 7 does require another roll. That's going to be a 4 and an 8 with the +1 from narrow and shallow. So four is going to be on the 3 to 7 row, and an 8 is spotted return to base. So he also gets stopped in the band of C. This is really going to slow us down here, not getting those back to base this turn. All right, that's going to leave our 2 out here that are still on patrol. Plus we have 019 coming out from Surabaya. We'll do him last. So let's start with K15 here. So we've got no narrow or shallow modifier here, not spotted. So just a straight roll on the activity chart. We've got 4 and then 8. So 4 is going to be low density. 8 is a task force. Low density task force is going to be 1, 2, 2, 3. I'll set that up and be right back. Now, both polls from column C ended up being no solution markers. So we got one that was too far and the old C missed. So it looks like column B is going to be our best choice here. We'll go aggressive posture, get that positive, or that negative DRM for the 2-hit roll. We won't get to flip an extra ship since there's only 3 that we can flip, but let's see what we get. All right. Hopefully some easy pickings here. Three TDC markers. Oh, not ideal. But let's see what we can do against that top one there. So we got our 3 attack after the torpedo modification. 2 defense for the ship, puts us down to 1. 1 ASW from the oiler over there. And then a -1 for the TDC since we're aggressive. So we're back up to 1. So we need a 1 or less, but we have a -1 DRM, so 2 or less to hit. Nope. For counterattack, we've got the 1 ASW value, plus 3 red boxes, 4 -2, We're not in shallow waters, so we're on the 1 to 2 row with +1 DRM for aggressive posture. So 8 is going to be spotted. We've been spotted. We'll do our re-attack round. We'll stay where we are. 3 new TDCs. Really hoping for a negative this time. Ooh, there we go. All right, so that will only get modified to a -4 because remember it can't go. It doesn't get modified for the re-attack round, but it does get modified by the aggressive posture, which I should have said we're staying aggressive. So this time we've got our 3 attack minus the 2 defense minus the 1 ASW. But now we're -4 for the TDC, so that's a 4. We need a 5 or less to hit with our DRM. Oops. And we got a 3, but then we only got a 0 for the damage, or for the damage roll, so nothing. Re-attack, or not re-attack, counter-attack. Should be the same 1 to 2 row, but this time we get another +1 modifier for re-attack. So 1 to 2 row with a +2. That makes it a 6, which I think we're safe from that. Yep. All right, for our endurance check, we're a C rating. We were aggressive, so +1. So we need a 2 or less to stay at C. And we did it. He gets to stay out for another week. All right, let's move over to the South China Sea 2, K14. He's going to... it's shallow but not narrow, so don't get the +1 for that. So it's just a straight roll on the activity chart. Got a 3 and a 6. 3 is going to be low density. 6 will be a large convoy. Low density large convoy is 4321. I'll set that up and be right back. Okay, here's what we got. We're going to set up in column A, aggressive posture again. So we'll get to flip 4 ships. At least hopefully they're all ships. Don't want to see any aircraft. Oh, there's another one of those hospital ships. I want to avoid that. And we did get a destroyer, unfortunately. All right. Well, let's get our 3 TDC markers. Guess we'll put our 3rd on this unrevealed. Hopefully we won't have to use it. +1. Of course it gets a good one. Well, I think we'll still play it safe and go after the 3,000 ton merchant there in the 3rd position. So we've got our 3 attack, -1 for the defense, -1 for the ASW of the destroyer. The TDC is a -1 since we're aggressive, so that puts us back up to 2. And then we get our +1 die roll modifier, so we need a 3 or less. 2 and a 2. I think it might just damage it. Yes, so the 2 gets modified to a -1. We did damage it. All right, for counterattack, we've got our 1 ASW. This time we've only got 2 red boxes. So that's going to be 3 minus our 2 defense, but then we're in shallow waters, so it's really only -1. So we're still at 2. So we're on the 1 to 2 row. We're not, just get the +1 for aggressive, looks like. So 1 to 2 row with the +1. That's going to be 3, which is nothing. All right. We're going to have to flip over all 3 of those Rising Sun flags. I think we'll go back to standard just because I don't want to have that extra +1 die roll on the counterattack, because this could get kind of nasty. So standard attack posture this time. Oh, good. That was a... Wow, we should have targeted that. All right. Another destroyer. Ooh, with a 2 ASW. And another one. Yikes. That's going to make it very difficult. Very, very difficult. So we'll put our 3 markers here. Well, we got our best result on our damaged ship, so we'll definitely target that again. See if we can actually get a shot at it. We've got our 3 attack. He's got 1 defense, but that's basically going to be negated by the damage. But then we've got 4 revealed ASW values, so that puts us at -1. Our TDC is actually a -1 because of the reattack. So we need a 0. Yep, standard posture, so no DRM this time. So we just need a 0. Oh, we got it. And a 4 is going to sink it. Excellent. So that's another 3,000 tons. 1 more ship. So 7 ships now, legitimately. And 1, 2, 3 is going to put us at 22,000 tons. Getting closer to that draw threshold. So he goes back in Cup A, and then we've got to try to survive this counterattack. So 4 plus the 2 red boxes for our op area is going to be 6. We only get to subtract 1 for our defense because we're in shallow waters. So that's going to be 5. So we're on the 5 to 6 row. This is scary. So I didn't want to go aggressive this time. So we just have the +1 for reattack round. So 5 to 6 row with a +1. Oh boy, that's a 7. On the 5 to 6 row is going to be damaged. Okay. Not too bad, all things considered, I guess. For our endurance check, we've got +1 for damaged and +1 for aggressive posture. So we need a 1, a 0 or 1 to stay around. And we don't get it. So we are going to be RTB. Go and flip to transit side now. And he goes back there. So last one we got is 019 here in Surabaya. I think we'll go ahead and send him back up to South China Sea 1. So he's going to get a transit event check. -1 for RTB, but +1 for sailing through shallow waters. So 7, 8, or 9. That's what we don't want. We did not get it, so he is good. We'll flip him to patrol side for next turn. And that will be it for week 1. We need to roll to see if we can lose some of these spotted markers. We'll start with this guy, K15. Does not lose his. That one does not lose his either. That's all the spotted markers we got. So we'll move on to week 2. And go to our war event phase. We got a 2, so we do check it. 6 is going to be barrier mission in the East Indies Straits. So we got our Makassar and Molucca Straits that are open this turn for his special mission zones. And we've got to send 4 submarines, or no, just 2 for this result, for the 6 result. So we have to send 2 submarines there if we can. Looks like we'll only be able to get 1 there. Well, depending on what happens with these guys, I guess. All right. So next up, we do get to roll on the ultra table. A 2 is going to be South China Sea 1 and the Bonans. Look at that. O19 is going to get to take advantage of that ultra area. Very nice. We get to see how that works. No weather, since we're in March. So, Triple R, no reinforcements, ready. Gotta roll to see if these guys get to come out and play this week. So, they're both 3s. So we'll do black die for the K12, white die for the K11. And K12 comes out. K11 has to wait at pier side. let's take care of our, we got no repairs, so we can move all these guys up to operating. And let's see if we can get them home this time. Let's start here with the K14. Come back through here to Surabaya, so he'll have a transit event check in the Java C. +1, -1, so just a straight roll. 5, so he's safe. He is damaged, so let's see how badly damaged he is. Oh, a 9. Heavy damage. He's going to repair box 3. I'm not going to see him for a while. Next, we'll do these guys here in the Banda C. So he's going here to Surabaya. So again, transit event check in the Java C. Nothing. So he is not damaged. He can go straight to the broom box. That was K10. And K8, same thing. Oh, I should have mentioned what was that last one I just did? K10 was spotted, so he should have had an additional +1 modifier on that, I believe, but he was still okay. All right, this guy is not spotted, so he just has a straight roll. 7, so we got to check it. And that's going to be 6 +1 is a 7, and then a 10. We're on the 3 to 7 row. 10 is actually can't go higher than a 9. That's going to be spotted, engaged, and damaged. Return to base. So he only managed to make it to here. Spotted, and then a second damage marker, which means we have to roll to see if he's sunk. On a 2 or less, he will not be sunk. Oh, thank goodness. Now we just gotta hope when he gets to Fremantle next turn that he doesn't have to, it's not a total constructive loss like the other one was. All right, let's take care of this SMZ first, I guess. So we'll start here with K15. He's going to patrol move into the Molucca Strait. So that is subject to a transit event check using the op area that he left from. And because he's spotted, he will get a +1. He's not transit side up. He's not using cautious transit. He is spotted, so he gets a +1 for that and a +2 for entering a special mission zone. I believe that is all. The op area he came from is not narrow or shallow, so I don't believe we have to take that into account, even though the Molucca Strait is also adjacent to the Banda C, which is shallow and narrow. I believe we go by the op area they entered from. So +3 to this. 2 plus 3 is a 5, so we're safe. Needed to be 7 or higher for a transit event. All right, so search and contact. So again, because we're going off of the area we entered from, it's not a narrow area, so we don't get that modifier. I am spotted though, so that's going to be a -1 on my search and contact roll. But then also remember, in an SMZ, we get to, as long as we get some contact, we get to increase the level of it by 1. Here we go, -1 modifier on the black die. So that's an 8, which is still going to be high density. But then unfortunately, 0 is a small convoy. And if you remember, only contacts with C2 and task force results are used. So he found nothing. He has to immediately RTB because it's a war event. So he flips over to the transit side. RTB marker, voluntary RTB. And he will go back to Surabaya through the Banda C and the Java C. So we've got our usual +1, -1 there, but then also a +1 for being spotted. So net +1 DRM here for the transit event. So that's going to make it a 7, which does require a second roll. And then these are both going to be +1s, so that's a 4 and a 7 if we need the second roll. Yeah, we do. So 4 is going to put us on the 3 to 7 row. 7 is going to be spotted, but we're already spotted. So no further effect there. He makes it back. That's 1 sub that we've sent to satisfy the special mission. So let's go ahead and do our other special mission sub now, I guess. So this guy, remember, he gets to flip immediately to the patrol side and then do patrol movement into the special mission zone. So he'll again have the transit event check with +2 DRM for, and then another +1 because he is entering from a shallow or narrow op area. So that's going to be +3 total for the transit event check. 2 just becomes a 5, so he's safe. And then for search and contact, we are in a narrow op area. So we get a +1 to our search and contact roll. And then again, we get to increase whatever level we get by an additional level. That's going to be a 9, which is high density. Can't go any higher than that. And I think 5 is going to give us our large convoy that we need. Yes. Okay. So I will get that high density large convoy set up, which is going to be 5, 4, 3, and 2. And I'll be right back. All right, we are back. And while I was paused there, I actually double checked and just got positive confirmation from Brian Miller on those 2 things I was still a little unsure about. First of all, when entering an SMZ that's connected to 2 different op areas, you do only take into account the traits of the area that you entered from. So in this case, since we entered the Molucca Strait, the Molucca Strait from the South Philippine Sea versus coming in from the Banda Sea, we do not have to consider it as being in shallow or narrow waters. The other somewhat related to that, is when doing a transit event check in shallow waters, this bit here about add +1 to both die rolls, actually it applies to all 3 die rolls. So not only the first die roll you make to see if you even have to roll for a transit event check gets a +1, and then both of these rolls also get a +1. So we were not doing that correctly initially, but I started doing it that way this turn or this month, and that is the proper method. Okay, so now that we got that totally clear, let's see what K12 can do here. We did get 2 of these, no solutions. So that one had a bad angle. That was from B. And this one, let me guess, C missed, of course. All right. Let's try aggressive posture for the first round here. So we're going to get to flip 3 over. He only has a tactical rating of 2. So let's go with this one. Oh, very nice. 4,000-ton oiler. This one, hospital ship. And this one. Oh, a combat event. All right. Still hoping for that tonnage doubled. We got a 4, which is... mechanical troubles end attack. The submarine encounters mechanical trouble. There is no combat phase for the submarine this turn. Roll the die. If an odd result, place a damage marker and an RTB marker on the submarine, and it involuntarily RTBs. If an even result, the chief engineer fixes the problem and the submarine may resume normal operations next turn. Place the submarine in the done section of the op area. It does not have to roll on the endurance table for this turn. Well, that's interesting because we got this in a special mission zone, which, normally we would just immediately RTB from that. So would this override that and allow us to go back into the done section of the Java C? That is an interesting combination of events that we've gotten here. So I'll definitely be posting a question on this to find out which way to handle it, but I'm thinking that mechanical trouble wouldn't give us an advantage over what normally would have happened, which is returning to base immediately after the special mission zone event. So we'll play it that way. So if we get an odd, we get a damage marker RTB. But then again, it's here, it makes us involuntarily RTB, which means we wouldn't do it till next turn. I don't know. Well, let's see what we get, and then we'll decide how we want to proceed. So we got the even. So the problem's fixed. May resume normal operations. I'm still thinking that we would still immediately RTB, since that's what our quote-unquote normal operations would have been for this turn. So yeah. So we're going to RTB And since we're in the same area, we don't have to do a transit event for that RTB. So we'll just immediately go to the broom box. But again, I'll try to get clarification on what happens in this combination of events happen. But that's the way we're going to play it. So we've sent our 2 submarines that we need to fulfill the war event. So now let's move on to 019. And now we get to see what our ultra area does for us. I have a good idea, but I just want to make 100% sure. So we get activity charts are increased by a +1 DRM. And all numbers from the engagement table are increased by 1. So we'll get an extra ship in each column and a +1 DRM on our op area, or our search roll. So we're not in narrow, so we don't get anything else. And we're not spotted, so no negative DRM. So we get a +1 on the black die. So it's going to be a 3-3. So that put us up into the low density. And 3 is going to be a large convoy. So it's a low density large convoy, which normally would be 4, 3, 2, 1, but we get to increase each of those by 1, so it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2. So let's set that up, and I'll be right back. All right, here's what we ended up with. That column B looks absolutely terrifying. And I'll tell you what, I'm really tempted to go into column D. That could be some nice juicy targets there. But I don't know. You know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? All right. We're at a 3. Let's just go standard attack posture, I think. So we'll get to flip over 3. Oh, look at there. Paid off. Hopefully this is something nice too. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's get our TDC markers. -3 on this guy would be awesome. Okay, that one's good. So. Ah, darn it. Well, let's see what we can do, though. So they're all just straight values. So we've got our 3 attack. If we go after this guy, it would be -2 for defense, -1 for the TDC. We need a 0 to hit him. Versus, if we go for the merchant in column C, would be at 3 attack, -2 defense, -1 for adjacent column, but then +2. Oh, I'm forgetting the half ASW here. Let's refigure this. 3 attack, -2 defense, -1 for the ASW, so I can't even target that guy. This one would be 3 minus the 2 defense, minus the 1 ASW, -1 for adjacent column, but then +2. So 1 or less to hit this guy. Or this one would be 3 minus 1 is 2, minus 1 for the ASW, and then no. That'd be 1 or less. Plus then we'd be getting rid of that ASW value, which would mean no counterattack. Yeah, let's go after that gunboat, I think. We need a 1 or less to hit it. Nope, not even close. Wouldn't have mattered what we targeted. Okay, and then for counterattack, we've got our 1 ASW from the gunboat, plus 3 red boxes, minus our 2 defense. So we're on the 1 to 2 row for the counterattack, and no modifiers. So a 4, we're going to be safe there. All right, clear all this off. I think this time we'll stay in column D, so we'll only have to flip those 2 over in column C. Hopefully they're not too nasty. Only question is, do we want to go cautious? I think so. There's not really a disadvantage as long as we pick. We can't, yeah, we went standard, so we can go to cautious. There's not really any disadvantage as long as we pick, as long as we target our chosen TDC. Which I'm not sure in what situation you would ever go cautious and then choose a TDC to be unmodified, but then attack something else instead. But anyway, we'll go cautious. So we'll flip these 2 over. Oh no, at least it's only a 1. Oh, nice. Okay. So let's do our 3 TDCs. I'm going to put one on the Asahi, just in case we get something really sweet that lets us take a shot at it. All right, so we're in cautious. So we have to choose one of these. I don't think that's going to be good enough. So let's just math this out here. If we picked this one, that's an unmodified TDC, we'd be at 3, minus 3 for the defense, minus 1 for the aircraft, no, minus 2. We got 2 ASW now. That would only give us a plus 1 back from the TDC. So yeah, we don't have a shot at that guy, unfortunately. But this one, hopefully we do. Our 3 attack, minus 2 defense, minus 2 ASW puts us at -1. Oh, hang on a second. I forgot this is a re-attack round. So we could actually hit this guy on a 0. Then this one, let me do that again. 3 minus 2 is -1, but then that's minus 3, so it would actually go to plus 2. Yeah, I think 5,000 tons is still pretty nice. So let's go after that guy. We'll make this our designated TDC. So we need a 2 or less to hit. Yes. Oh, and a 9. Definitely sunk. Awesome. Yeah, we would have missed on the Asahi because we would have had to have gotten a 0. All right, so another ship, another 5,000 tons. Puts us to 27. So So we've managed to at least get to the draw level as long as we don't lose too many more subs. It is possible for your victory level to go down if you lose too many subs. That guy's gone. Now we've got the counterattack. 2 ASW revealed, +3 from the area. This 5 minus our 2 defense is going to be the 3 to 4 row. We've got +1 for reattack, but -1 for cautious. So just a straight roll on the 3 to 4 row. 7. We're spotted. That's okay. I got worried when I saw that 9 on the second die, because if we have gotten up to the ones that required a second roll, we'd have been sunk. But we're just spotted. And then for our endurance check, we are a C rating. None of those modifiers apply. So we've got 3 or less that we need. Yeah, we get to stay out. Very nice. He goes back there in the done area. And that is all of our ships. So now we can roll to see if we lose these spotted markers. We'll try this guy first. He does lose it. And 019 also loses it. All right. Advance to week 3. And we will pick it up from there. All right, we're starting week 3 here, but before we proceed, I did get an answer to the situation that just came up last turn, where, if you recall, K-12 was deployed to Makassar Strait Special Mission Zone for the war event barrier mission in the East Indies Straits. And then we ended up getting this mechanical troubles combat event, and we rolled an even result, and according to Brian Miller, whichever result you roll on this, it does override the immediate RTB, and the sub does stay in the connected op area, either damaged in RTB if you got the odd result, or just placed in the done area and can patrol there next turn if you got the even result. He did also say that in a case like, say, it happened in the Molucca Strait, where you've actually got 2 connected op areas, you can actually choose which op area to exit into for that, under the assumption that the skipper is being extra cautious after what just happened, and so could choose to come out a different way than you went in. All right, so we'll kind of retcon that here a little bit. So K-12, instead of being back at base, will actually be in the done section of the Java Sea, ready to patrol this turn. All right, so let's do our war event phase. See if we get anything this time. Nope, 7 on the black die, so we don't have a war event. Then we will proceed to ultra check. We got a 0 this time. See if that gives us anything we can use. Oh yeah, East China Sea and South Philippine Sea. The East China Sea is out of our jurisdiction, so to speak, but we can use the South Philippine Sea result Although we're not going to have anybody that can patrol there this turn, unfortunately. No one's close enough. No weather roll. So we will proceed to the Triple R segment. No reinforcements. We have some subs to ready. This one goes straight to ready for C. We've got 2 here to roll for. We'll do the top one black die, bottom one white die as usual. All right, well, we got a 1 on the white die, so K15 is going to go straight to ready for C. K10 will have to wait another week. And then for repair, we've got the K14 in the repair box 3, which requires a 1 to advance. And we got it. Nice. He moves over to repair box 2. And then all of our subs at C move up to their operating section. And we are ready for operations segment. So let's deal with our doubly damaged ship here first. So he's going to transit move to Fremantle. No transit event required there since he's coming from the Java Sea directly to Fremantle. But we do have our 2 damage markers, so we're going to see if this guy is repairable or not. We got to roll 2 dice and add the repair box values. We might have got it. A 0 and a 6. So yep, a 0 is nothing. A 6 is repair box 2. So he goes into repair box 2 at Fremantle. Happy with that result. And let's go ahead and get these guys in base out next, I guess. Where do we want to send them? I guess we could send them to the South Philippine Sea and hope that maybe we'll get an ultra area there again next time. Let's see, they'll sail through the Banda Sea to get to the South Philippine Sea. So we've got our shallow narrow modifier that's going to be in effect, but then a -1 for transit side. So just a straight roll for that. 7, 8, or 9 is what we don't want. We got a 1, that's good. They will patrol there next turn. And same for K11. We'll send them there as well. You know what? Let's split them up. Let's send them to the South China Sea too. Cover as many areas as possible. So that's going to be same thing. We use, oh no, we won't need to use that area since that's where we left from. So we just have the 2 red boxes this time, but we do have the shallow modifier. So just an 8 or 9 this time. And a 5, so we're safe. He will patrol there next turn. All right. Why don't we start with the K12. He is in narrow op area, so he will get a +1 to his search and contact roll on the first die. So that's actually a 6 and a 9. So it's going to be some size of task force. Let's see. Moderate task force. 2, 2, 3, 4. I'll get that set up and be right back. So here's what we got. No solution here. Too fast. All right, well, we've got tactical rating of 2 for this guy. Thinking maybe we set up here in column C. We'll go standard attack posture. So we'll just flip these two red balls over. Oh, nice. And a combat event. Ooh, this would be the perfect time for a tonnage doubled. All right. Get that chart ready and roll the die. A 7. Oh no, it's a bad one. Maybe not. Counterattack combat. So basically, I believe the way this works is it just flips the counterattack and the attack portions of this attack round. Sequence is altered for this round only. Once all targets are revealed, which we just finished revealing, including unrevealed flags with TDCs that are being targeted, the escorts attack first. Okay, so we may still, depending on who we target with our TDC markers, we may still have to reveal one more. If not sunk or forced to RTB, the submarine attacks the surface ships. Conduct the initial attack round, then skip to the counterattack round. So just those steps of the initial attack round, and then skip to the counterattack round. If we're not sunk or forced to RTB, then we can do our normal attack. Yeah, so basically we just reverse our attack and the counterattack. Not what I was hoping for, but not the worst either. Especially in this situation, since there will be no counterattack. Unless we place a TDC marker on something that ends up getting revealed and does have a counterattack value. So we'll definitely put one on our 7,000 ton merchant and hope and pray that it's a -3. And why don't we go for this guy over here in column D. So that's our 2 TDCs that we can place. Hey, -2. I'll take that. A +1. So we're definitely not going to reveal that guy. All right, so like I said, counterattack would happen now, but there is no counterattack, so now we can proceed with our attack. Our 3 attack value is modified to 2 for torpedo value. Then -3 takes us to a -1, but then we get to add 2 back for the TDC, so a 1 or less, and we can hit this 7,000 ton merchant. We're going to need a pretty big number on the second die, even if we do hit. We'll be on that second row there, so we're going to need at least 5 on the second die to sink it. Let's see what we get. We did get what we needed on the white die, but we didn't manage to hit it. All right. Then we can proceed to the re-attack. I think for this, we'll go cautious so that we only have to reveal one of these things. Let's go ahead and reveal the one in our column. Oh, nice. Okay, so again, we won't have to worry about a counterattack. Just hope we get a favorable TDC on one of these guys. So we'll have -1 for the re-attack round. All right, here we go. Oh, a +2 this time. That's terrible. Oh, but we got a -3 on this guy. Unfortunately, does not get modified to -4. So let's see what we have. think it's going to end up being the same as we had on the other guy. So our 2 attack minus 4 defense is going to take us to -2, but then the TDC will add 3 back in. So yep, 1 or less. And he's still in that same 5 to 9 row for the tonnage. So same thing, we need a 6 or more, or sorry, 5 or more on the white die to sink him. We got to get that 1 or less on the black die. And we do not. Well, that's a shame. A couple of good chances there, but no luck. And no counterattack, so we just go straight to endurance check. We did not go aggressive at all. Oh, and I should have mentioned that obviously the CL was the TDC that I chose to be the unmodified one for our passive posture. All right. So we need he's a D rating. No other modifiers, so we need a 2 or less. And we did not get it. So he will have to RTB next turn. And looks like that just leaves our 019 that we sent up to South China Sea 1. No modifiers here for search and contact. We got a 3 and a 1. So it's going to be a low density small convoy. 3210. And it's interesting. I wonder why they chose to use zeros there instead of the dots like they do on the other columns. Anyway, we'll get that set up and be right back. So while I was off camera, I came up with a theory that may explain the distinction here between some of these tables having zeros for the draw from a particular cup and some of them having the dots. So if you look under the ultra rules, you'll notice it says that all numbers from the engagement table are increased by 1 except for those cups indicating no draw. And if we look on the original engagement table from Silent War 1.0/1.2, which they've included in case anyone wants to still use that for a more simplified engagement table, it shows that the dot indicates no draw. So I'm wondering if they included these zeros for those results in War Period 1, so that if you happen to be in an ultra area and got that result, that you could actually increase that from 0 to 1, versus the ones that just have the dot cannot be increased. So I will posit that question on Board Game Geek and see if that's indeed the case, why that distinction was made there. But anyway, back to our game. Here's what we got for our combat display. Another no solution marker, evading. So we will set up in column A. I think we'll just go standard attack posture. So we just reveal 3 markers. We'll do these 3 red balls here. Okay, a couple of good targets there. And a combat event. Wow, we're getting a lot of these here this turn. So let's roll our die and see what we get. And it is a 1. Oh, another surface gunnery opportunity. Perfect. So we engage in gun combat. Again, we would have to ignore it if we were either spotted or there was a typhoon or if there was a tropical storm and we didn't roll well enough. We would also have to ignore it if there are any revealed IJN units, but there are not. Just got our two merchants here strolling along. So we will surface. That was from column B. Which we get marked as spotted, which is fine. And then we get to roll on the 26 to 35 line of the attack results table. So basically we get an automatic hit since we're not actually firing a torpedo. But we have to get, and we do not use the torpedo modifier for this. So basically we need a 6 to damage it and a 7 to 9 to sink it. So no reason not to go after the heavier ship here. So we'll go after that 5,000 ton converted passenger ship. And again, looking for at least a 6, hopefully 7 or more. 8, nice. So we shot that one down with our surface guns. That's one more ship and another 5,000 tons. So we're up to 9 ships now. And another 5,000 will put us at 32,000. Which, let's see how that... Oh, nice. That'll put us in the substantive victory level and getting pretty close to that decisive victory. We just have to make sure we don't lose 4 more subs, or we'll have to decrease our victory level by 1. All right, very happy with that. Still got possibly 2 more months to go. All right, so he is gone. There's no counterattack. We've got no revealed ASW values. So let's get bold here and go aggressive. We're only going to be able to reveal 1 marker no matter what, so might as well get the advantages of aggressive stance with only the drawback of possibly extra ASW risk. But all right, so it was a destroyer there. We will get counterattack this time, but what we get for our TDCs. Oh, that's not good. Well, with the combination of reattack round and aggressive posture, that'll be a 0 at least. So our 3 attack value is going to get reduced by 1 for the ASW, 1 for the armor. Obviously, we're going after the merchant. And then no further modification from the TDC. But we do have our -1 die roll, remember, so a 2 or less will get us a hit. Nope. And then for counterattack, we're at 1 plus 3 red boxes from the op area is 4. We're not in shallow waters, so we get to subtract 2 for our defense. So we're on the 1 to 2 row for counterattack with +1 for reattack round, +1 for spotted, and +1 for aggressive attack posture. So a total of +3 on the 1 to 2 row. Uh-oh. 8 makes it 11. So that's going to be damaged RTB, but then the plus sign says we have to roll a second die. 7 to 9 were sunk, and look at that, we rolled a 9. Looks like our aggressive posture bit us there. So we do lose the 019, and our subs lost is now up to 2. That's quite a shame there. All right, don't have to worry about anything else there. So that's going to be all of our subs have done something this turn, so we don't have any spotted markers to check for. We can remove this ultra area and advance the turn marker. So we're on to the final week of March 42. And starting off with our war event roll. Did not get a 3 or less on the black die, so no war event. Ultra. We got a 2. It might have been one of our areas. Yeah, South China Sea 1 and Bonins. So back up where 019 just got sunk. But we can respond to that with the K11. He can patrol move up to there, so I think we'll probably do that. But first, there's no weather roll, because again, March, no new weather formations. So no reinforcements. Ready. We just have the K10 that's now ready for C. We're down to only 4 subs left now. Wow. No, 5, sorry. Let's see. Repair phase. The K14 will advance on a 3 or less. Nope. Another week in repairs for him. Clean this combat display up. Prep for operations. And we are ready to go with the operations segment. So let's start by getting K12 back to base. He doesn't have to do a transit check. So he just goes right to the broom box. Let's go ahead and send K10 out next. We'll send him to the South China Sea 2 area. And he will have a transit event check using South China Sea 2's box. So that will be 2. Only 2 red boxes there, but we do have the shallow water. So +1, -1. Straight roll, 8 or 9 will trigger an event check. We got a 0. Needed that on those attack rolls. All right, so he will patrol there next turn. So then let's go ahead and have the K11, like I said, patrol move to South China Sea 1. So he will get a transit event check. He's leaving shallow, but I don't believe we consider that in this case, just where he's moved through or to. So just a 7, 8, or 9. 4, he's good. So then for search and contact, just to remind ourselves for the ultra area bonuses, we get a +1 on the activity roll, and then an extra ship in each column. We got a 2, which bumps up to a 3, and it's going to be a task force from that 9. So it's going to be a low density, low density task force. And those all get bumped 1, so it'll be 2, 3, 3, 4. So I'll set that up and be right back. All right, we've got another no solution here in column D, zigged away. I think with this guy being an older class boat with only a 3 attack rating, we'll just stay here in the column A for hopefully some easy pickings. Let's go ahead and go aggressive so we can flip over an extra marker. So let's do both of the ones in our column. Ooh, that's a very nice looking one. Hospital ship again. And let's go for this one. Oh, nice. All right, TDCs, we only get 2. Stay away from that hospital ship. These will have a -1 to them, even if they're -3s. Nice. All right, so we'll go after the 3,000 tonner there. We're going to have our 2 attack value after the torpedo modification. -1 for the defense, but then +3 for the TDC. So that's a target number of 4. With our -1 DRM, we need a 5 or less. Come on. Yes, and that 5 should sink it. We're on the 1 to 4 row there. 5 gets modified to a 4, which is a sunk result. So another 3,000 tons for our total. Puts us at 10 ships sunk now. And 3,000 more tons. Up to 35,000. Getting very close to that decisive victory level. We just need another 1,000 tons and avoid losing 2 more subs. And we'll get that decisive victory. All right, so he goes back in Cup A. There's no counterattack. I think yeah, let's see if we move over. Let's do this. We'll move over to column B, but then we'll go we'll switch back to standard. You know what? We'll still have to flip 2 even at standard. Yeah, why not? Let's go. Let's stay aggressive. We'll get to flip 3 again. We'll have to flip these 2 rising suns. Hopefully at least one of them is not really Yep, no such luck. So we're going to have 2 revealed ASW. Let's go ahead and flip this for our third. All right. We got a couple of good targets at least. 2 TDC markers. Oh, that's not good. Neither is that. So basically there'll be equal shots since this one has lower defense but higher TDC, and then so that kind of is a wash. So we might as well go for the higher tonnage. We're looking at 2 minus the 2 defense is 0, minus 2 ASW puts us at -2, but then that TDC is actually a -1 now with our modifications. So do we even have a shot? 2 minus 2 is 0, plus 2 is -2. That TDC only converts to a -1, so we only get 1 back. So yeah, we have no shot, unfortunately. And we will suffer a counterattack with 2 plus 3 for the op area is 5, minus our 2 defense. We will be on the 3 to 4 row with +1 for reattack and +1 for aggressive. So 3 to 4 row at +2. So this doesn't bite us again. Oh, that's better. 4 becomes 6, which is just spotted. And then for our endurance check, we were aggressive. So we get a +1 to that. So we're going to need, and he's a D rating, so we need a 1 or less to stay around. Nope. So he will involuntarily RTB next turn. And we've got our last sub out here is K15 in the South Philippine Sea. No modifiers to the search roll. 6 and a 5. 6 is going to be moderate density. 5 is a large convoy. We're looking at 4322. Be right back. Well, this is a very beautiful site. A couple more no solutions, evading, and evading. Wow, this is some interesting choices here. We've got a tactical rating of 3. Kind of inclined to stay in column A, at least initially, because we've got more potential targets there that won't suffer from shooting in an adjacent column. So let's do that. Let's go aggressive for the first round. We'll get to flip over 4. So some of these aren't surprises. Those 2 are very nice. Wow. Look at that. And then for our 4th one, let's go with this bottom one. Hey, all right. So we do have a bit of an ASW factor there with the oiler, but that's all right. Yeah, I think we just try the 3 in our column. bad. Oh, that's nice. And bad. Okay. Pretty obvious choice here. So let's go through it. We've got 3 attack, -3 for the ship defense, -1 for his ASW of a half. But then we get to add 3 back in. So that puts us up to a 2. And we got our die roll modifier, so we need a 3 or less. Come on, dice. Oh. Wow. All right. Our counterattack will be 1 plus the 3 red boxes in our op area, minus our 2 defense. So we'll be on the 1 to 2 row, plus 1 die roll modifier for attack, aggressive attack posture. Nice. 0 is nothing. Well, I think we stay here and we stay aggressive. So we just flip over this 1 more. Hopefully it's not bad. Oh, a combat event. Okay. Eight. I think that's a favorable one for us. No, it is not. Grr. Counterattack. We do not get to make an attack, but we do get counterattacked. Very unfortunate. So we've got our 1 plus 3 is 4, minus our 2 defense. So we're still on the 1 to 2 row, but this time we've got an additional +1 for the re-attack round. So the 1 to 2 row with a +2. 6 becomes 8. We are spotted. That was quite unfortunate with all those heavy targets floating right above us there. All right, our endurance check, we are rating C. We were aggressive, so we need a 2 or less. Nope. And he goes back to, should have flipped to transit side. Forgot to do that with this guy. All right, so that is it. We get to roll to see if we lose our spotted markers. We'll do black die for the one in South China Sea 1 and white die for the one in South Philippine Sea. And they both get to lose them. And then advance the turn. And that will do it for the month of March. Made it to April without the Dutch East Indies falling. So we will get to play at least one more turn. So we'll get to that in the next episode. Thanks everyone for watching. To summarize our progress, end of March 42, we have sunk 10 ships totaling 35,000 tons. We've lost 2 subs, but then we're also actually down a 3rd sub due to total constructive loss from damage. So that's where we'll pick it up in the next episode. See you then. Just a quick addendum here. I realized while I was reviewing the video prior to uploading it that I completely forgot about K8 up here in Fremantle when I did the repair phase of the last turn. So let's go ahead and see if he gets to advance. Needs a 5 or less. He does not. So no harm, no foul, but just wanted to make sure we didn't forget about that. Thanks, and see you next episode.